Here's a really simple and effective way to add retries to your AI agents in order to retry different kinds of operations. What you see here is a workflow that I have. It's a checkout workflow. First, there's an attempt to purchase some items. Using an AI agent, we attempt to detect fraud and whether there is fraud actually happening with this purchase, meaning that if there's too many items trying to be purchased and then resold, that could potentially be fraud. In this case, there is no fraud. It's only a single item that is being purchased. And so then we proceed to the next step. The next step is an attempt to charge a credit card. And in this case, the credit card actually fails. You can see that credit card was declined. In this case, the failure was simulated just for demonstration purposes. But how do we add retries to this kind of situation where if a payment fails, if a fraud detection activity fails, how do we add retries in order to make our system more durable and scalable? Of course, you can add your own retry mechanism. It might look something like this. If you call in an AI, there might be attempts that you're setting up, a maximum number of attempts. You might have an exponential backoff that you have to implement, and then you have to have a while loop. You have to have try-catch blocks that increment the amount of attempts, and then you have to have some kind of try-catch block that has an exponential backoff. But there's definitely a better way, and that better way is using Temporal. If you're unfamiliar with Temporal, Temporal is an open source technology that allows you to create durable workflows, guarantee that your workflows will not fail, and if something happens throughout your workflow, they will automatically retry based on the configuration that you set up. So here is an example where we have our payment charge activity and we use the Temporal SDK, in this case Java, but there are many other SDKs that are available to set up our activity options and our retry options. With a single method, we can set the maximum number of attempts. We can set an initial interval, maximum interval, backoff coefficient, and that's it. And that's how we recreate the exact scenario that I just showed you, retrying our payment charge activity. If we want to apply that to a confirmation message activity that may be a little bit different, this one is using AI, and so it might be a little bit slower. We can configure that differently. And here's another activity, this fraud detection activity. That one also uses AI in order to detect what's going on with the potential purchase. And so that one can be configured individually on its own with a few lines of code. The only other thing that you need to add to your code is make sure that you're actually throwing an exception. And so in our case here, we have our payment service that's attempting to charge the card, and we get back a result. If the result is not successful, we're throwing an exception. And that exception will then pass on to Temporal and let Temporal know that something went wrong and we need to retry the activity based on the configuration that I just showed you. So next time you want to do retries in one of your workflows, give Temporal a shot. It's free and open source. It's relatively easy to use. There's an SDK for almost every major programming language. And outside of the easy to implement retries, what you will also get is this beautiful UI that actually shows you all of the events happening in real time, and then you get a history that you get to track afterwards, which makes it significantly easier to debug your failures. And then the final thing that I really like is I don't have to write all the extra code for these retries. Instead, I use the SDK, let Temporal figure out how the retry should happen, and I just code for the positive use case, ultimately decreasing my code and maintenance overhead.